Hello, YouTube family.
Hello.
Um, oh, Gracie thought we were talking to somebody outside, apparently. In today's video, we wanted to address some questions about my involvement in the farming operation. This probably won't be a very long video, but here we go. We'll give you some explanations. In several of our videos that pertain to the farming side of things, we have made mention that we're helping my sister-in-law Amy with her farming operation. In last week's video specifically, I said that I was looking through Ryan's notes to try and figure out how to properly set the fertilizer spreader. My goal with this video is not only to answer questions that some of you may have, but more importantly to honor the memory of my younger brother Ryan. I grew up with two brothers. I'm a middle child. And sorry, I got notes here because I'll forget half of what I should say if I don't. I grew up with two other brothers. I'm a middle child. My brother Steve is 3 years older than me, and Ryan was 3 years younger than me. We grew up on our family farm near Garrison, Iowa, which in the early days was a row crop and a farrow to finish hog operation. In the later years, when the hog prices went in the tank, we switched and started a dairy farm along with our row crop operation. But eventually, I think after kids graduate and move on and maybe less help and that sort of thing, dairy is a very committed. You're definitely married to the farming operation when you have dairy. So
Labor intensive. Labor intensive.
Very labor intensive. Kimberly grew up on a dairy farm as well. So, but anyway, Dad sold out of the dairy operation, had an auction, sold all the cows, and we were then just strictly a row crop operation. Ryan and I always had a love for the farming side of things. Our older brother Steve, he went the military route, and I thank him for his service. That's not something that I probably could have done, but anyway, Ryan and I were the farming kids, and so let's see here. Back in 2006-ish, Ryan and I started farming together. There was a farm that was coming up for rent, and we ended up getting it rented, and we started farming together. We were both working third shift jobs at the time. I was working at General Mills, and he was working for CCX, which is one of those LTL trucking companies. He was working third shift as well, like I said. And around the 2008 time frame, Kimberly and I started researching the aerial application industry. I had started getting my pilot's license and was interested in spraying with an airplane. So the plan was to add this new company to the Noe Brothers farming operation. I had had several conversations with Ryan, and I'd been doing the research. He hadn't. I was trying to fill him in, but at some point he got cold feet and did not want anything to do with adding this to our operation or getting involved with airplanes, which I can honestly say I can't blame him. It was a very kind of stressful and kind of a scary business to start, from scratch. A lot of the people in the industry are born into it, and Kimberly and I started this aviation business from the ground up on our own, so with no other monetary help. So anyway, Kimberly and I went on to start Noe Aviation, and Ryan stayed on the farm. He eventually left his third shift job and went on to be a salesman for Titan Equipment, which is the Case International dealer in our local area. Then after some time, as he picked up more ground and got more acres, he was able to leave that job and go full-time farming. Fast forward, November 26, 2021. Ryan had been spreading fertilizer at Amy's family's farm, which her and Ryan had been renting. That night we lost Ryan. I'm not going to go into any details on anything, But just know that a man that was very passionate about his family and his farming operation was lost that night. Ryan had a huge personality. He was always joking around and had no problem being the center of attention of the room. That's where our personalities were way different. I'd just soon sit in the corner and not be noticed. And here we have a YouTube channel. Imagine that. But yeah, he made friends wherever he went. And that was very clear at the visitation and funeral, because there was over 500 people that attended. One of his interests that he really loved was snowmobiling. He loved to go riding in the mountains, in the powder, and all that stuff. So that was one of his favorite hobbies, I guess. Other than the fact of, let's see, one of his local hobbies was driving through car lots and implement lots all the time. I guess that was, he couldn't hardly drive by one of those lots without driving through and seeing if there's something he just had to have. So anyway, there were several times when we'd ask him to help out at our aviation business, whether that be physically or, you know, can I rent your seed tender for cover crop seeding or your pickup or whatever. You know, there's just times where you got to move to a different location. You got a pickup that's taking the tank. You need a pickup that's taking the fuel. And anyway, a lot of times you just need more than one vehicle. He was always willing to let us rent his equipment or come out and help out physically. He had an uncanny ability to show up at the airport just as things were going off the rails all the time. And he'd be there to witness the whole event. I don't know how he did it, but and it was a blessing in disguise, because he'd be there to help us through our catastrophe. Whatever was going on that we needed help with, he'd end up being there to help us out.
He'd jump right in and do what he could to help.
Yep. So, and it actually, one of the other guys on the field had something happen one time, and guess what? Here comes that red pickup driving down the runway, and Ryan showed up, so he was there for that too. So, and helped them with that situation. So, but yeah, we'd laugh about that all the time. So, anyway, when he would show up randomly, and he did that quite a bit, at least a couple times a week, I think, while we were in season. And we'd be like, all right, what's about to happen?
Yeah.
Ryan showed up. You know, something's about to happen here. So, anyway, in thinking of doing this video, we've been doing videos for 2 years, and this video's been on my mind. You know, I've made reference to, you know, in one of the corn hauling trucking videos, I kind of said some things that referenced, you know, you never know, time is short. And hopefully my kids and grandkids will have something to look back on someday when I'm gone. It's kind of the point, the two reasons why I started this channel. Previous events spurred that thought process in my head, and I have not disclosed that information. Not sure if I will or not at some point, but just know that life is precious, and you never know how much time you have. So do what you can to, you know, help others out, and, you know, be a good steward of the land and whatever you've been given to be a steward of. So I guess it's kind of a public service announcement, getting on my soapbox here, but you just don't know. Just because you're, you know, maybe you're 25 years old, fit and in good shape, and tomorrow's not a guarantee. So do what you can while you're here, and you know, I'm just putting some content out there to try and help educate people, and to give my kids and grandkids something to look at later on after I'm gone, whenever that may be. It may be tomorrow, it may be 40 years from now, who knows? I don't know that, and but I'm going to put some content out there, and they'll have some remembrances of me when I was here. So, and then last week's video specifically, we referenced, because that was a fertilizer spreader that Ryan was using that night, and it hadn't been used for 3 years, and we were trying to make sure we had it set right. But I specifically was saying, you know, said that I was referencing Ryan's notes, and so we figured it was probably time that we come clean on what actually is going on here. And the other part is, you know, I don't want people to think it's not my farm, it's not our farming operation. You know, it's Amy's farming operation. We don't need people to think that it's us and we have this big farming operation. It's not ours. We're just helping. So that's another point, or reason for this video, is just to clear some stuff up. So I asked Amy if she had any specific pictures of Ryan that she wanted me to add to the video, and she said she didn't have any specific videos, that pretty much every picture, or sorry, any specific pictures. She said pretty much any picture she had of him, Ryan was being goofy, which that's the way he was. Yeah. So Ryan left behind his wife Amy, 2 daughters, Erica and Lizzie, or Elizabeth, and his son Austin, which is the youngest of the kids. Austin was 15 at the time of his dad's death. His desire was to follow in his dad's footsteps and to take over the farming operation. He was obviously too young at the time to do that, so I was working full-time at General Mills at the time, and we were operating our spray business, no aviation. So Kimberly and I talked about the options for several days, and we basically came to the same conclusion, which was we needed to step up and help Amy and her kids keep the farming operation going until Austin could take it over full-time, or him and Amy could take it over full-time.
Which made sense, because when you and Ryan worked together, it was like they knew what the other one was thinking. And so having you step in that to help them was really a gift, because you knew him so well and you did things so similarly.
Yeah.
And then, just like last week when you were trying to figure out the fertilizer, you could kind of think the way he would have thought.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a lot of that, and you know, it's like she said, you know, when we worked together, you know, we grew up on the farm. You know, Dad trained us both, and we learned the same way, and there was just a lot of times when we would just be working on something, and this guy would move on to the next, and there really wasn't any need for any conversation. You just, like you say, we just knew what the other one was thinking, and what needed to happen next. So that was pretty cool. So then when I stepped in to fill that role, things were very similar that way. So, and Steve being he went the other direction. He was in the Army. He had even made the comment. He's like, if anybody's going to help, this family, it's you. So, so with that being said, we knew that's what we needed to do, but we had no idea how we were going to pull this off. But we knew with God's help that He would help us to make it happen. So I called Amy, and she was obviously heavily grieving at this time, and told her that we would step up and help her. And she said it lifted a huge weight off her shoulders, because she had no idea how she was going to continue on her own. So Kimberly and I feel that God was calling us to help, so who were we to say no?
Absolutely.
So, just within this too, I need to give a huge shout out to General Mills where I was working. They allowed me to take personal leave the first year to help out, and then the second year it was just simpler and cleaner. They just gave me a bunch of no pay days that I could take, plus my vacation that I had. So, but I'll forever be grateful for them and my team that I worked with at the time that helped us through this situation as well. I eventually retired from General Mills on December 31st, 2023 at the age of 55. That made last year, 2024 season, so much easier. Austin will graduate from high school this coming May 2025 and will transition more full-time into the farming operation, obviously, which will then allow us to start backing off a little bit, and maybe I'm not the go-to guy anymore, and he can start filling that role, and allow him and his mom Amy to start calling the shots. So Ryan's death made me start to think a lot about my children, and we have one grandchild, so grandchildren. Ryan and I really weren't people who wanted our picture taken or to be on video ever, and that just wasn't our thing. The problem with that is when what memories do your family have of you when you're gone? So because of this, I started this channel. I wanted to document some of my life and my life journeys, so that my kids and grandkids would always have something to look back on, and hopefully these videos and memories will help them, make them happy and proud. So we just want to thank you guys for watching this video, not only this video but all of our videos, and it means a huge amount to us, and we just hope that this clears up a lot of questions. So thank you guys.
Thank you.